welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. Gonna do something a little different. I know I always ease you guys into the intro and then I turn it up, I flip the switch and go to 11. So I'm gonna try and keep this calm demeanor even when we're speaking negative, because I'm gonna lay it down for you guys. I was utterly bored by NXT tonight. I enjoyed the first two women's matches because it was great seeing Saturday work on NXT, although we'll get a little bit into that later. GYV's vignette was hilarious. I love these guys. I love that these guys get TV time. MSK the same way. Great that they got a vignette. I'm curious who this character is that I believe it was Nash Carter. Nash Carter alluded to saying we got to see him. You know, he's gonna fix this, whatever. And Cameron Grimes and Duke Hudson. I even said on our TwitWoW live wrestling discussion channel on our Discord, and of course you guys know, cheap plug, $3 a month for the Discord. Check out our Patreon for that and all the other offers we make. That Cameron Grimes to me is the best of Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes on the mic. I said I'm really excited for him to get pushed by getting released next year, given that WWE just always seems to do that with every prospect they have. So those guys, and I liked Electro Lopez and Zion Quinn. So I didn't hate this show, but I think the first hour, beyond the first two women's matches, really kind of stung for me for the most part. And then the second hour was marginally better, but this NXT really struggled to keep my attention. And yeah, I really didn't care for it. And the Joe Gacy stuff and Boa and LA Knight and Grayson Waller, how can I put this delicately? I was far more entertained cleaning mice feces off my kitchen counter last night than I've ever been watching any of those guys. So, yeah, Ashton, what did you think about tonight's episode?
I mean, damn, how do I top that? You'd rather clean my shit than watch those guys. Like, holy hell.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I said it in a very soothing tone, which I thought would soften the blow, but yeah, they suck. They suck. So, yeah,
Yeah.
how'd you feel about tonight's episode?
I thought it was mostly, and if not, probably like 80+% boring and or bad. I really did not like this episode. Um, there were multiple times that I like threw my hands up in the air, like, what the fuck are they doing? Um, and those weren't even necessarily all about like match finishes, although one or two of them might have been. Actually, at least one of them was for sure. I'm not remembering any other. But yeah, man, like you already kind of pointed out the shit that I enjoyed. The Toxic Attraction versus Io and the other two girls. Fine, that was a match. That was a good match. And then the Zion Quinn Electra stuff was cool, and the vignettes or video packages that we got for GYV and MSK were good. Everything else was just bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna level with you, man. You know I take TwitWoW very seriously because I know like you do all the technical and production stuff. Like this is I've always said like it's your baby. I'm along for the ride. I try and bring my personality when I can. I kind of felt bad because there were points where like my eyes definitely drifted away from the content. And like I could definitely feel inside like, man, I'd much rather be reading. I'd much rather be doing, you know, like other stuff because, you know, we have interests outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd rather be spending time with those if I'm perfectly honest than like watching the show. I definitely felt that throughout this show. And you know, like again, if I'm being honest and I'm not gonna turn up, and again, I want to keep everything relaxed here. I like it. When they advertised War Games, I really didn't care. It was hard to really get excited because you know I feel like it could be really good. It could be a star-making moment for a few men and women. You know, hopefully they do another women's War Games. I think they might, with Toxic Attraction being like the big thing. I could absolutely see that. I could already see like Toxic Attraction in Dakota because it's 4v4, right? War Games, and then you do
Is
I
it?
don't know. I always thought that it was. Um,
I'm trying to remember. You might be right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. So yeah,
it's either
Toxic
for
Attraction in Dakota versus Raquel,
Raquel,
Io, Casey, and Kaden. Ugh.
either Casey and Caden, or maybe they'd even get Cora Jade in the mix given what happened tonight.
Cora and
But
Saray would make me fucking happy.
That would be very, very interesting. But yeah, like, that's conjectural on our part for now.
Yeah.
And I saw the War Games advertisement, and the best I could muster up was, like, I guess we'll see what happens. And it's funny because, again, and I feel like I should be the one to say this. I was the one that begged, like, oh, let's go back, let's make this homegrown talent. And in a way, like, I like some of the production stuff that they're doing with the vignettes and the characters and stuff like that. It's just, man, I don't know. I'm just not clicking with it. Maybe it's a me issue. I don't know. But yeah, this is a bad outing for NXT. And let's, I guess, get into our first segment, Heat of the Night. I feel like I've talked considerably, so I'll let you start. Do you have any nitpicks or full-blown heats of the night that you want to air out here?
I mean, yeah, nitpick at least. Why the fuck is Johnny Gargano going after Carmelo Hayes and in the process helping Pete Dunne pick up a win?
The answer they would give, feeling holier than thou, and by they, I mean any WWE apologist, your Booker T's, your Bubba Ray Dudleys, et cetera, would be like, oh, well, they're in a feud, and that's the way that he gets the one-up in the feud. My question is, personally, how the hell is Carmelo a heel in this title reign when fans clearly think that he's cool and they want to like him? I mean, granted, though, I watched most of this on mute. Apparently, according to you in Discord, people were rooting for Pete Dunne, so maybe I'm wrong here.
No, there were it was back and forth. It was dueling chants, but like I just don't understand how anyone like if it's 50-50, that's 50% of people that I don't understand you. I don't understand how anybody could be presented with the choice to root for Pete Dunne or Carmelo Hayes and somehow manage to land on Dunne. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
And
like
especially when they're both very clearly heels. Like if Dunn was a babyface, okay, yeah, makes sense. But they're both heels. So why the fuck would you root for Dunn ever?
yeah,
And frankly, even if Dunn was a face, I'd be like, then I could imagine it being split 50-50.
yeah.
But Dunn's a fucking heel too. And like, why would you ever root for him?
Yeah, I don't understand it, man. Oh, Foster, you're so sweet. He said, bold of you to ever assume you're ever the problem, John. That's, I love you, man. I really do. But no, it's funny because I look at Carmelo Hayes, and he even said in an interview, right, that Shawn Michaels went to him, and he admitted to Carmelo, like, I don't know what's cool. I'm assuming you do, so go out there and represent what's cool today. And Carmelo says, like, he takes that very seriously. When they were spitting at Pete Dunne in the back, because Trick, I think is great too. I hope Trick gets enough appreciation for his role in this act, because I think he's an amazing hype man. Then he seems solid in the ring from the little we've seen from him. And they're spitting at Pete Dunne. I'm like, that shit's fucking awesome. Like, I pop for that stuff. Mello, for his part, is so much fun in the ring. Like that code breaker spot he did with Dunn, and I will give credit to Dunn because it takes two to make a bump work, and Dunn bumped his ass off of that code breaker. But Carmelo is so smooth like butter in the goddamn ring. Oh, really, I feel like with Swerve now on SmackDown, like Carmelo is Swerve-esque with the way that he moves to me. Everything looks good. Everything gets a pop out of me. And yet he's a heel, and I just don't like. I think that's one thing that's really been nagging at me with WWE lately. And I know we've cut out SmackDown and stuff like that. It's just that because you and I are plugged in, maybe even some would argue too plugged in because we are very passionate about our leftism and everything. I think you and I see heroes and cool through a very different lens than obviously this corporation, right? So I look at Carmelo and I see cool. Maybe WWE does too, but they're positioning him as a heel. And Pete Dunne, I'm sorry, him getting the win, just to kind of circle back to what you said with Johnny Gargano costing him, like, I get it on the face of it, because it's like, oh, Gargano's playing games with Hayes, but, like, I don't want Dunne in the fucking title picture. I didn't want him involved in this. Like, I just wanted Carmelo and Johnny to have, like, a TakeOver-esque matchup for the North American Championship to put Hayes on the map. And now, to me, and again, I'm always going to be honest.
Are they going to turn this into a War Games match?
I mean, maybe, but
I don't really do like something along the. I don't know. I just don't know how they like. Because you think like Johnny, Thatcher, and now Dunn would be one team, and then Carmelo and Trick would be another team, and they would have to fill those out then. But I just don't feel like there's enough there to work with.
No, I don't either. I just feel like we're getting set for a triple threat North American Championship match at the War Games event. You
know what though? At the very least, as long as we keep Dunn's talking role to a minimum, he would add to that match for sure.
I mean, in ring, yeah. It's just, God, I don't know. I don't know. I think I was just really looking forward to a Hayes Gargano one-on-one matchup, which I still think we'll get. But
you know what? Actually, yeah,
you know.
you're right. A Hayes Gargano match one-on-one would probably be even better than that done in there. Because like, I feel like I have to like overcorrect because I dislike Dunn so much as a personality that I tend to overlook his in-ring work. But he is good in the ring, and I do know that, and I do understand that. But maybe like I don't know. It's hard for me to like reconcile how good he is in the ring without being blinded by how much I fucking hate his personality or lack thereof.
Yeah. Yeah, I just see, and it's difficult, man, because to me, and look, I'm sorry, I guess this is more about Dunn the character. Like, he talks a big game, but he still has yet to win the NXT championship. I think he was a North American champion, maybe for a little bit.
Who's
I don't even
this?
remember anymore. Pete Dunne, was he even ever a North American champion? I feel
He
like
might have been.
I don't even remember if he was. Um, he was. He he has
No, he
not. Yeah,
wasn't.
most people said he has not. So you haven't won the world title. You haven't
Dude,
won the
Johnny
North American
Gargano
championship.
has held that title 3 times. No one else has ever had it more than once.
Exactly. Like you were tag team champions with Matt Riddle, whose stock, at least for people again that are really in the know, is kind of tanked a little bit given non kayfabe stuff, outside stuff.
Dunn is
So
like
like
perpetually in that picture, and he's just never held the title.
yeah, he's perpetually in that picture, and you always talk this shit, but you've never held it. So for me, if I'm like booking Carmelo Hayes and I'm thinking I want to make this guy a star, like yeah, Dunn as a character, fine, you're a badass, whatever. Even though lately I feel like he has been getting these flukier kind of wins because he beat Dragunov in a similar way with like quote unquote distraction, even though it was clearly clean, but they tried to spin it as a distraction.
Yeah.
But like beating Gargano one-on-one, who is a former NXT champion, 3-time North American champion, and a tag team champion with Ciampa, which was one of the better tag teams in NXT's history, that means something. I feel like adding Dunn to the mix, it becomes less about Hayes, which it should be about, and more about Dunn, which I'm like, we've really been committed to Dunn for a long time. He hasn't changed his character. He's pretty much a young Ciampa in that way. Like, solid in the ring, sure, but like, where is your depth? This is a business of personality, and you don't have it. I mean, that is one thing that Miz got right all those years ago when they brought Bryan in on the first season of NXT. Turns out Bryan would be an amazing fucking promo. But yeah, it is based on personality, and like, I don't see Dunn ever selling a goddamn ticket. I'm sorry, like, unless you're very passionate in the Brit Rest scene and you want to support Dunn because he came from there, that's the only tickets I ever see him moving. So I don't get why he's still getting so much invested in him when Carmelo Hayes, one, to me, should be a babyface, and two, should be having this program with Gargano to kind of legitimize him. So I kind of hate that. But yeah, that was your one nitpick. Do you have anything else on your roster?
Let me actually take a look at everything that happened tonight. That's my biggest problem is when I don't take notes. I just have a hard time remembering everything because it's like everything goes by so fast, and I tend to try and remember to post my more extreme reactions either on Twitter or in the Discord. But oh yeah, fuck NXT again for already being bored with Saray. Saray losing to Kaylee Ray broke my fucking heart tonight, and I hate it.
Yeah, the tweet that Saturday put afterwards that she feels lost and she can't win, and what is she doing wrong? Like that broke me. That made me, definitely.
Did you see my
question.
reply to her?
Yeah, about the tag team with EO Sunny Skies. I really like that. Somebody get you on the marketing team and give you a goddamn royalty check. But yeah, that was rough. That was rough. Yeah, Abel said it best. Poor Saturday, just pleading emoji. Yeah, that's a total mood. I did enjoy the matchup, so I'm not going to knock that. And apparently Saturday has been winning on 205 Live, so I don't know if they're getting ready to tell a story with her on NXT that her NXT track record has been successful, especially with her tweeting that out. So I'm going to let that play out. But yeah, I mean, Saturday is immensely talented. It just seems like with this new NXT, that's the problem. With them rebooting NXT, I have no idea who fits in what scheme anymore. We didn't even get Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly tonight. So that was an interesting, omission there, which I'm not saying you need the same acts every week, but it just begs the question, like, how do you see these people? Where do they fit?
Well, we got an O'Reilly promo talking about him and Wagner.
Oh, did we? I must have missed that. I honestly
Yeah,
missed that. I
I
don't have that in my
noticed that.
notes.
Yeah, I did catch that. He basically just kind of said like, "Oh, I'm kind of in a holding pattern right now. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my career, whether I want to, just kind of move on from this tag team or if I want to go all in." And then he basically said that he and Wagner have their eyes on the tag titles. And then I actually wasn't watching this, but based on the accents, I think it was Imperium that showed up and basically just like mocked him and bullied him a little bit. And Wagner didn't show up, I don't think.
God, I hate that Imperium are our tag team champions. Jesus Christ. So
Were
yeah.
you paying enough attention to catch Diamond Mine's segment?
Well, I mean, I saw that they had a match. I didn't hear Malcolm talk though, unless I missed that. In which case,
He
I'm really
did,
pissed.
dude. He had a talking segment. It was so good.
What did he say? God damn it! I missed the best part of the fucking show.
I mean, I don't necessarily remember what he said word for word by any means. I just remember that there was the whole thing with Kushida and Ikemenjiro, now known as Jacket Time, which is just fucking ridiculous. They were doing a bit where they were in their like amateur wrestling gear with like their headgear and everything on, and they were talking about God, I don't even know what they were talking about. Oh, fucking Jiro was like, "You're Japanese, I'm Japanese, we are Japanese." And then, like, as he was saying that, we like faded out and we saw that video of them doing that up on a projector wall in the Diamond Mine dojo while they were training for their match. It was fucking awesome. And then Bivens cut a promo. It was awesome.
Oh, I can't believe I missed Bivens talking. Well, I'm
I
already
know
mad
he
at
said
myself.
something along the lines of the Creed brothers were going to bring the same energy that Roderick Strong brought to his match against, I don't even know, maybe Kushida, I don't know, and win. But yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I completely missed that in my notes. I don't even know if I was tabbed out or what, because again, like this NXT really struggled to keep my attention. So I apologize profusely to Malcolm Bivens as a certified Malcolm Bivens stan account on Twitter. That is entirely my fault. But yeah, it was good seeing the Creed brothers. I will say this about the Creed brothers matchup. Julius has got one hell of a gut wrench power bomb. I popped for that. I'll give
Yeah.
Julius credit for that. That popped me. Anything else you want to air out since this is still heat of the night?
Um. Hmm. Let's see. Did we already get? Did you have you had any heats of the night? And if not, why not?
Um, no, I just wanted you to go first because I felt like I talked a lot. I hate Joe Gacy.
That was going to be the next thing I wanted to talk about, but I figured you would too, which is why I threw it over to you.
Here's why I can't talk about it, dude. I utterly noped out of it. I'm really just like
Aww.
again, I noped out
You
of it.
keep
Like
abandoning me with these segments.
well, dude, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and it'll be better than everybody else that's abandoned us in our lives. It's probably gonna keep happening because how many variations can you say the same thing that this fucking thing sucks and it's creepy and it's offensive or it's whatever? Like I'm over it. Joe Gacy, I just feel a disconnect with that, which is a shame because I like the guy in the ring. I just hate the fucking packaging right now. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Boa and if Karen Q is going to be released or if we can expect a vignette or two from her in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
That maybe they're taking her in a completely different direction. If so, why? Why couldn't you just commit to this? Grayson Waller is a fucking waste. Actually, no, that's separate from Joe Gacy. That was a bit later. But yeah, there were just people that I really just noped out on. And yeah, Joe Gacy was one. So what
Yeah.
happened here then?
Well, I mean, the whole thing with Gacy, like he had his little backstage promo where he wants to help Boa through the whatever he's going through, and then he said Harlan shouldn't have to be uncomfortable in his own skin, and what he does tonight is for both of them, and then he asks for Harlan wherever he is to reach out his hand, and I fucking hated it. It was horrible. And then we got the actual match, and about 5 minutes into the match, maybe not even that far, the lights start flickering, fucking Demon Balor style, and Boa stares at his hand and he does like the old like under the chin death grip that Mei Ying did multiple times. And he did it to Gacy, but he pushed him up against the ropes. And because they were in the ropes, then the referee counted to 5 and disqualified Boa. So Boa got his shit in, but he also took the fat L, which seems to be something that he's very familiar with. Remember, He literally lost to Zion Quinn on Quinn's like first or second match in NXT. And Gacy afterwards put on like a really creepy, perverted looking smile towards the camera, and I hated it. And it made me uncomfortable. It made me want to recede into myself.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, just throw the whole goddamn thing away. Like, what the hell? And I like Boa, too. I don't like coming on here and shitting on gimmicks. But, like, goddamn.
There's a lot that went on this show that I actually did like. That we haven't talked about yet, actually. Like, the stuff that we've talked about already were, like, the Toxic Attraction versus Io and Friends match. And what was the other thing that we talked about that we liked?
The vignettes, the GYV vignette, I thought was really good, and MSK. I told you that
the Electro Lopez Zion Quinn stuff, right?
Yeah, that was good too. I enjoyed that.
I also, and I know you did too, loved the Cameron Grimes stuff, and I fucking loved Andre Chase's segment tonight. It was great. He was great.
It's definitely different. I wouldn't say that like I loved it, but I liked it relative to the other stuff that I either had a stronger response to, and certainly I liked it more than the stuff that I hated, that I just utterly loathed. This was like an in the middle segment for me. Yeah. But yeah, it's a different character, and I like it.
Yeah. So compliment sandwich now, because I just gave NXT credit, and now I'm going to shit on them again. If NXT had more of a presentation akin to Lucha Underground, I would fucking love what they're doing with Dakota Kai right now, but they don't, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't necessarily mean this as an insult. Like, I definitely get early Victoria vibes from what Dakota's got going on right now.
It's the Twitch, man. It's the Twitch. The Twitch is so fucking ridiculous and over the top, and not. It's like. It's not. It doesn't. How do I fucking describe this? Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how to describe it. It just doesn't fit in NXT. It's like she's doing it in the wrong promotion. It would have worked if it was in like a Lucha Underground storyline where we fully embrace kayfabe and we understand that wrestling is a story and that it's like more like a movie than a sport. But NXT is like in that in between, and they like to try to have their cake and eat it too, and it just doesn't fucking work. It's just like it's thematically illiterate. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I again, we go back to just what they seemed like they were going to do with Dakota, this whole Gravedigger gimmick, and then they come out with this. And it's not that this is necessarily a bad thing, but I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not that this is a bad thing, but you've got to be willing to commit to stuff like this. That's what made Lucha Underground so great, if I can actually make a coherent commentary outside of just fanboying all over it. Lucha Underground could have the most outlandish characters, and maybe not even all of them would connect, but whether they were outlandish or completely down to earth, like I would say one of the most down to earth ones would be like Tejano, right? But they always got vignettes that made them feel cooler or more surreal than either they were, or maybe they matched the effect just right, depending on how out there the character was that they were trying to portray. They put the time into it. They gave the production value to it. With Dakota, even with this gimmick, even though we were a bit confused because, again, we thought we were getting one thing and we got this thing, you could still make it something really cool. Maybe you could do vignettes where it's like the voice seems to be coming from outside or whatever, and Dakota's just like reactive, like, what is that? And then maybe in a twist it's like her conscience or something, because I know there was one theory like, oh, she's still struggling because there's some babyface Dakota left in there. But you don't do that. You don't create a world around this gimmick, and because it only has the real world to operate in, it comes off very weird and kind of clunky at times, which is a shame because Dakota's still one of the very best on that roster. I mean, let's just make that crystal clear. Still absolutely one of the very best.
And they would put her in War Games again, too. I feel like she's been in almost all of them so far.
Absolutely, a War Games vet. And I would even go as far just to really double down and say that given, the releases and everything else and just the trajectory of women's presentation in WWE, I would say Dakota's maybe one of the best in that entire company. And, that's why
I'd say right around top 10.
Yeah, I was thinking top 10, and then I was wondering if you would challenge that or not. But yeah,
I would have said she was just outside of the top 10 before Ember got released.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, given these new releases and everything, and just given how consistent Dakota is when you really look on her track record, yeah, I think she's earned her spot as one of the best in the company.
Yeah, like if you go
And
back to a time before like Ember and Ruby got released and Asuka got put on the shelf, I don't think Dakota would have necessarily been in the top 10, but right now she's probably right barely inside of the top 10, yeah.
yeah.
Although,
So
God, fucking Bailey's injured too, so maybe she's even higher up than I think. Maybe she's like top 7 or 8, maybe top 6. I don't know.
yeah, I just think she's been doing good work, and so we don't want the character to like drag her down. But I think you got to put more production value in it. You got to put more time into it, especially because she did get cut off with the whole Cora Jade stuff, which I don't mind. I like that you're getting multiple women in the mix. I mean, Raquel can just fuck off altogether.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, I hated when she looked at me. I hated when she looked at Mandy and she was like, "Oh, keep my title warm for me." And I'm like, "Oh God, please no. Once was enough."
I know.
But yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from, man. What else, man? Keep it going. If you have anything else you want to spotlight,
I think that covers all of my hate.
All right, well then let us get into our NXT review. We opened with Toxic Attraction versus Io, Casey, and Kaden. I came into this match a bit late, but I did see Io doing Io things, just dominating. I saw her moonsault on Mandy, which got broken.
Female goat.
Exactly. Kaden had a pretty cool hot tag. I like Kaden, man. I wish she'd get away from Casey, just because my opinion of Casey
here's my
is tanked,
thing. I want to like Kaden, but when you've gone out of your way to spend as much time as the Dominion of dumbasses she has, I have to call into question your character and judgment.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I hate to do guilty by association, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like Casey. It's not like Casey is like a predator who like gaslights Kaden into thinking she's a good person. Kaden is just probably cool with the shit she does.
Yeah.
Plus, dude, did you see the video that they put out talking about Io and how Io says she doesn't care who her partners are and how like they like invited her to come out partying with them and shit?
Oh God, no, I didn't see that. Poor Io.
Dude. Man, I really am suffering alone over here. Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. Was that like on the show, or was that like an Instagram or like TikTok thing?
It was like a Twitter or an Instagram thing or something like that. It was just.
Oh, okay. Garbage. So I don't feel that bad because it wasn't part of the show. But yeah, I really did not see that.
Oh God, it was horrible.
Poor Io, man, get her the fuck out. I don't even know if I want to.
Dude, I'm saying like if you're not gonna put her with Saray and have them go on a dominant tag run, get her the fuck out of NXT, please.
Yeah, she did her duty. It's over. But yeah, Kaden did some cool stuff here. Ultimately, though, Gigi pins her with that flipping kind of abdominal stretch kind of maneuver. I think they call it uncaged. So that was pretty cool. Really like that finisher from Gigi. It's very unique. And I like that Gigi got the winning pin for Toxic Attraction as well. Because you'd think, like, the champion would do it, but it gives...
She got it with that, like, Jaeger bomb type move.
Exactly. And like, no offense to JC Jane, but obviously I considerably prefer Gigi Dolan. So in my mind, it's
JC is like, I don't want to say she's like another Zoe Stark, because I think I like her more than I liked Zoe even at first. But like, she's kind of along those same lines where it's like, I understand that you maybe have been around for a while, that you have wrestling experience before you got signed to WWE, and I appreciate the work that you've put in, but I'm not familiar with you. I never heard of you before you came here, and I don't think that you're all that spectacular right now. But you're also not being pushed like a star right now, and you are tagging with someone that I really, really like. So I'm going to deal with you and maybe learn to like you while I'm thoroughly enjoying your partner.
Yeah. Like, Gigi getting that win to me, all I could think was, like, man, I hope the day comes one of these days where, like, when Toxic Attraction dissolves, as all factions seemingly do, except for the New Day. Definitely the template if you want to keep friendships together. Just study those guys extensively. And maybe they'll even do it for the NXT Women's Championship, because Gigi just seems to finally have found her rhythm. I think the company's finally investing in her, and really just more investing in Mandy Rose and the faction that she leads. But Gigi's fortunate to be a part of that in this case. So really cool that she got the winning pin. Obviously, it protects Io, because Io wants a shot at the NXT Women's Championship against Mandy Rose. I don't know where that makes Casey and Kaden fit, because, I mean, you just got pinned by one half of the tag champions. Maybe, I don't know, screw off. But, yeah, fun enough match for what it was. Really no complaints. After that, we get Pete Dunne getting interviewed. Again, this fucking tough guy act shit. Because he gets asked, like, Tony D'Angelo's comments, because he was kind of, you know, sniping at everybody. And Pete Dunne's like, oh, you know, if Tony D'Angelo wants to do something about it, he can come find me, the baddest man in NXT. And it's like, dude, all due respect, shut the fuck up.
Dude,
so
fuck due respect. He doesn't have any respect due to him. Just shut the fuck up.
yeah, I'm honestly over it, dude. Like, either get a new beat, get something going, or just don't bother.
He is literally, I think he is the only dude on the entire on any wrestling roster. I feel like maybe like Ziggler for the last few years that I just feel like doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. I just, God, because see, this energy that he had, it worked to me beautifully when he was UK champion and he first came in and, you know, he did the United Kingdom tournament, the first one, and all that stuff. Like, it was great then, but that era is just, it's gone and it's been gone. Like, adapt, for fuck's sake. Like, I'm just not vibing with this at all. I'm really happy that Ridge Holland is away from this and on the main roster. Can't wait to, you know, hear about what he does. And I say here because we're not actively covering SmackDown anymore.
Dude,
but yeah.
Did you ever watch any of the Southpaw regional wrestling clips that WWE uploaded to YouTube?
Only the first season. I know they did like a season 2 or something, but I never touched any of that.
Dude, I feel like Pete Dunne wants to be the character that was portrayed by TJP in those videos. Like, just this super bland, completely personality-less champion that the company's really behind, and they do everything to, like, prop him up just for no fucking reason. Like, that's who Pete Dunne wishes he could be.
Yeah. It really be like that, man. It really fucking be like that, and you hate to see it. But yeah, then Shrek and Mello interrupt. Man, and that's another thing, too. I don't want to seem like I'm overly praising Carmelo Hayes, because I know I've talked about him a lot in this review, but I think that's because he was just really a highlight of the show. I love what he's doing with this A-Champion stuff, mainly because, like, when he can, as a heel, unfortunately, he really makes you believe it with the matches he's been putting on and everything else. He's just got that swagger about him. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if outside of kayfabe, like, he thought he was good, like hot shit. Maybe he doesn't verbalize it because he knows how to, like, play smart, but maybe Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I just love the swagger and the confidence he has about him.
He has to have at least some level of confidence because he's basically been playing the exact same character for years, even, like, across different companies. Like, even before he came to NXT, Christian Casanova was almost the same character as Carmelo Hayes. Like, very little has changed. I'm pretty sure he's just playing a version of himself.
Yeah. And hey, it works. I'm buying it if he's selling it. And again, I'm loving this A-Champion stuff he's doing because it's actually making me care about the North American title and, like, how far he can take it. I mean, I'm going to say it. I know they won't, especially if the NXT title goes on Braun Breaker soon, who I know they want to make the face of the brand. And I'll even give NXT credit. I don't think they're doing the worst job of it, although I still think he should have beaten Champ at Halloween Havoc. But it seems like they want to tell a different story, and it's a story I'm not opposed to. You know, they're doing such a great job with Mello with this whole A-Champion shtick. I'd like to see the North American Championship main event a takeover. Maybe even have that be when Mello loses the title. Like, oh, the last thing he does before dropping it is getting to main event a takeover. Because these are different takeovers, too. We have to understand, these aren't indie loaded anymore. So I feel like talking in this age about the North American Championship main eventing isn't as outlandish as it would have been, say, even last year. You know, with Undisputed Era still, like, in the mix and everything. So, yeah, I'd like to see Carmelo main event a takeover as North American champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go as far as to say as North American champion. But because when you said I would like to see him main event a takeover, my main thought was, yeah, I want him in the world title picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying, again, given that his whole shtick right now is I'm the A-Champion of the show, it's only logical to me that he would get that title to a takeover main event at least one time in his reign. And then he could just talk about, like, I'm the only North American champion to really get that title the spotlight that it deserves, and it deserved it because I held it. And then, you know, he drops it and he goes on to the world title, and now he's like, well, now the A player can have the world championship, so then it can truly become the A championship. I just want him to be the guy that's like, whatever title I'm holding, it's the best goddamn one because I'm the best one in NXT. So, yeah, that's just what I would love for Mello. But they more or less, again, spit it done. They're like, hey, you know, you got a problem? We'll freaking settle it, you know. And he's just throwing down. Dunn doesn't even understand what they said at first. And Melo's just like, maybe you'll understand me clearly. I don't miss. He kind of goes back to that. And he lays a challenge down to Dunn, and that's how we get our main event later in the show. But then after that, we get, Toxic Attraction. They're still celebrating their win. And then Kaylee Ray interrupts, kind of cuts through them, kind of teasing again. A lot of sharks swimming in the waters of Mandy Rose's title reign.
Yeah.
We get a commercial. We come back from commercial. We get the MSK vignette. So how have you been liking that? I know you're happy that they're out of Full Sail, but have you actually been connecting with these and
I've
investing
been
in these?
enjoying them, man. Yeah, I mean, these guys are super likable. I mean, at least Wesley. Like, Nash Carter, less so, but I still like him, mostly, again, by association, because I fucking love Wesley. And I think these are making them more likable as a team and as individuals. I've been enjoying it, man. I think they're good. I also really loved GYVs later on.
GYV's was, I think that might have been, if Cameron Grimes didn't cut a promo, and again, me missing Malcolm Bivens' promo, I still feel guilty about that.
Yeah. Oh, no.
But Cameron Grimes' promo to me was the highlight of the show. But if those things didn't happen, and honestly, I enjoyed GYV so much that even with like Malcolm in consideration, and that's why I'm putting a lot of it on Cameron Grimes because he's just so fucking good on the mic. GYV was the highlight of the show for me. Like outside of that, I love their vignette. But yeah, I like that this is kind of a soft reset for MSK. I don't know if they're gonna go back to NXT. Honestly, given that I hate that arena and how they heckle NXT or heckle MSK, excuse me, every match, I would love if the culmination of the vignette is whoever is trying to give them guidance that Nash Carter's so psyched about them seeing just tells them it's time to move on. When you've done something with one thing, it's time to challenge yourself with something else. And then it's like, oh, they look at each other and it's like, we're going to SmackDown or we're going to Raw or whatever. And it's just kind of their send off in vignette form. Because fuck that crowd. Like, honestly, like I would not be opposed. But yeah, we'll see what happens with them. I dug it. We come back from that, and we get Kaylee Ray versus Sarray. Again, I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm just gonna be honest, and I think I've said this before, but it bears repeating. I don't think I'm ever gonna get Kaylee Ray. Like I know a lot of people seem to like her. I don't hate her, and I don't think she's like bad like Charlotte or Nia or anything like that. God no, it's just I'm kind of indifferent towards her. I will say though, she did get a pop out of me with the gory bump on the announce table, and then doing it again in the ring. That was a nice finishing sequence. So they got some good offense as well. Again, really feel bad for her, at least as a character. So I am getting worked, and that's what they want. Curious where Saturday will go next. So that was that. Already talked about Joe Gacy, so thankfully we can fuck all the way out of that. Then we got Solo Sikoa, being confronted by Grayson Waller, and then LA Knight interrupts, and then Solo Sikoa says, well, where I come from, the way we handle business, it's more or less like, oh, we settle it with violence kind of thing. So I'll see you two in the ring. They're confused because they're like, what just happened kind of thing. So we know that triple threat's coming. I hate pretty much everyone. I was really tempted to call Solo Sikoa in my notes the other Uso because he really doesn't have a discerning identity. Ikemen Jiro and Kushida versus the Creed brothers. We already kind of touched on this. Julius Creed pins, I believe it was Ikemen Jiro, with the gut wrench powerbomb. Surprise though, Odyssey Jones makes the save post match. Once more of Roderick Strong. What do you think about this Roddy Odyssey Jones feud, dude?
Very interesting. We've kind of talked about the weird thing going on where like Roddy at one point literally wrote off a loss because it was to a heavyweight, and now he's going against Odyssey of all people. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of a weird like inconsistency going on there. But then we literally saw Roddy knock Odyssey the fuck out. I think it was last week even. It might have been the week before that. Which it's like, okay, so he can do that. So it's not totally one-sided. So I'm interested. I like both of them, which makes it a little harder to pick sides, but it is easier to root for Odyssey right now than Roddy, so I'm going to just be behind him, I think.
All right, yeah, makes sense to me, man. We get Toxic Attraction being interviewed in the parking lot. That's when Raquel interrupts because Mandy says that, she's not feeling threatened by Kaylee Ray, that they're all going to hold these titles for a long time. Raquel rolls up on her motorcycle thinking she's a badass. Keep my title warm for me. Oh, God. Then she gets a promo, which I'm just utterly going to fucking skip, more or less calling Dakota out.
Yeah, dude,
Dakota...
as far as our Heat of the Night goes, I intentionally left out how awful Raquel and LA Knight and Grayson Waller were because I didn't want to get repetitive.
And that's same with me, man. That's why I'm trying to just keep it at a fast pace. Obviously, Cora Jade tried to jump Dakota Kai, as we alluded to earlier.
I
So
like that
again,
though. I like the idea that we might get a feud between those two. What I don't like is that Raquel is still involved at all.
yeah, absolutely. After that, we get the Andre Chase vignette where he talks about mental toughness. So you pretty much like this. That's kind of the vibe I got, right? Is that you enjoyed this?
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought Chase's intensity and like him, I don't know, he gave me almost like drill sergeant vibes, but like funny drill sergeant, like Sergeant Gunnery Hartman type drill sergeant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you know what? Again, I liked it for what it was. Again, as far as the vignettes go, GYV, which actually came after this, was the best. But I'm just glad that Andre Chase has an actual character and he's committed to it. And you know what? Depending on how far they push him, you never know. It could have even like Bo Dallas energy, where I feel like it's just a mid card type gimmick. They put like a big title on him or something, maybe even wins the North American Championship, and he just works the fuck out of me. I could totally see that happening. So we'll see. Hey, Andre Chase has got a character and he's committed to it. That's always the first step. After this, we get GYV. Oh my god, I fucking love these guys. So pretty much they stop somewhere. Drake's like, man, I'm hungry. Oh yeah, you want to eat, right? Good, that's why we're here. And Zach Gibson more or less takes him through this plan to steal a guy's phone, get his Cash App like information, whatever, and pretty much just take their food, I guess, that they ordered through the app. They do that. And then they're kind of sitting around, they're eating the food. And Gibson says, see, now if you could distract him, you could distract a referee. So I like this because here's the thing. I love GYV so much that they could have been doing the same stick of like soon to be recognized and all that stuff. I love them enough that I could have tolerated that probably for another 2 years at least. I like though that these vignettes seem to indicate that they're actually training together in a very unorthodox way because they realize something's got to change. I love that. They recognize, hey, we're not tag team champions. We've been losing matches that we should very easily be winning. We've got to change things up. And I love, again, how unorthodox their training is. Let's learn how to pickpocket from people. Let's learn how to take their food. I'd like one next week where they're talking about, I don't know, doing things illegally but discreetly, like thumb in the eye or this, that, or the other. Maybe like a sleight of hand with people and see it be like, oh, deception is key. Just stuff like that. I love that they're kind of rebuilding themselves as a tag team. And really, you said something to me on Facebook where it's like both them and MSK are getting vignettes. They're both like kind of trying to find themselves again. So I wonder if after finding themselves, they're going to find each other. That was something you like alluded to. You're like, I wonder if they're going to feud. And yeah, I'd be all for that. And honestly, I hope GYV would finally go over. MSK could get called the fuck up. And then GYV can be baby faces in a feud with Imperium where hopefully they beat them in a squash match for the fucking tag titles. And now that part's definitely not happening. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I fucking love Grizzled Young Vets, and yeah, I really enjoyed this vignette. After that, we get Cameron Grimes versus Ruefang. Wins pretty handily after the cave-in. Then Duke Hudson confronts him. So I guess I know you and I are both Grimes fans. So I guess I'm going to ask you generally, what did you think about this like promo confrontation? And I guess more pointedly, since we haven't talked about him much, how did you feel about Duke's side of the segment?
I thought they were both great. I mean, don't get me wrong, Grimes obviously shined here. Grimes looked like a fucking star and a half in this segment. But I really thought Duke cut a really good promo. I thought he held his own against Grimes personally.
I would agree with you. I would absolutely agree with you. I just, man, and I feel bad for Duke because this is not trying to shortchange him in any way. I just fucking love hearing Cameron Grimes. It's very rare that you can be both a hilarious heel promo and a compelling face promo. Like, that's why I wish NXT took Grimes more seriously, because we know as Trevor Lee, the fucking heel promos he would cut.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I still occasionally go back and I listen to those. But as a baby face, man, like, again, he has that Dusty Rhodes energy where I feel like he has a hard times promo inside of him.
Yeah.
But the way he talks about himself has such Ric Flair, like, NWA swagger to me. And I love that. I love Cameron Grimes, man. So fucking good. So yeah, him and Duke doing a program, I'm down with that. Cameron needs something to do. I've missed seeing him wrestle, so this match with Ruefang was definitely needed. And Duke, I think, is a great look. Seems like a solid dude for the business. I still wish low-key that he would have won the breakout tournament, but then again, Melo winning it gave us all this. So really, honestly, fucking worth it. And yeah, like, I'm just excited for these guys to do business again. After that, we get the three-way night, Walrus, Sikoa. Again, I just utterly checked out of this. I really don't care about anybody here. I wish Sikoa had more of an identity again outside of being another Uso.
I mean, I will say I liked Sikoa the most out of these three, and I thought he had the best showing in the match, and he won the match. So massive props there.
Yeah, I did see, like, you in Discord be like, man, he just Germaned, I think it was Waller over the top rope, and he pinned Knight.
Yeah.
So, cool for Sikoa, I guess.
So you just didn't watch this?
Yeah, I just didn't watch this at all.
Oh,
I was just utterly checked out. Like, I'm sorry, like, I just do not care about these people, and there's no variations you can make of I don't care before you lose steam and you get repetitive. So I'm just checking out.
Honestly, even if you were still open to liking Sikoa, I understand why you would want to avoid this match because of the other two guys that were in it.
Exactly. Then we get Indy and Persia kind of talking about Halloween Havoc and the ladder match, and Indy was like, I was touching the titles the way I touch my sexy Dexy every night. Persia's like, whoa, back it up. And then Tony D'Angelo interrupts. Dude, what did you fucking think about this? Like Andre Chase, I will say too, much like Andre Chase, I love how committed they are to the Tony D'Angelo character. How did you feel about this?
Oh, God.
Well, I'm guessing we might have had opposite reactions to this.
No. Remind me again who D'Angelo interacted with here.
Indy and Persia.
Okay, yeah.
Because he was kind of dissing Dexter Loomis, and then he gave Indy a dead fish. He's like, give it to Dexter. He'll know what it means.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. Do I like the character? Somewhat, yeah. I think it's overexposed right now. I think we shouldn't be seeing this dude every single week. I think this is like a 2 times a month gimmick at most. I think they're overusing him, and it's going to get real old real fast. And for me, it might have already gotten old, honestly. And
it sounds like it has.
The main reason, though, is because we've seen him wrestle, and we know he's green as fuck.
Yeah.
Like if this was a gimmick that they put on like a Chad Gable, I'd be excited as hell about it because I would know what the end result would be as far as like the actual in-ring product goes. The fact that they put this potentially great gimmick on a dude that's like brand new to the business, I'm very apprehensive to get invested.
So you're thinking if you're going to give a guy a mafia gimmick, like a mobster gimmick, you want to believe in ring that a guy is going to get whacked, to use the lexicon. And
put this gimmick on a Cesaro and watch him fucking soar.
Yeah. I feel like they almost did. Well, not really, because he never cut promos like this. But the Hitman thing, like, man, I wish he would. That was my favorite Cesaro, I think, low key.
I think mine might have been bad joke Cesaro, but nonetheless.
But yeah, I'm still enjoying the gimmick, man. I don't think I'm quite where you are yet, which isn't to say that I won't be in the future, because God knows, like, if I'm already checking out of NXT and stuff, I don't think any gimmick's safe if I'm already in this kind of headspace. So I can definitely see where you're coming from. I'm not going to, like, fight you about it. It's more like forget about it to me right now. But yeah, he's apparently going to have a match with Dexter next week. Should be interesting, because I think Dexter's a very quality big man.
And I'm going to be rooting for Dexter all the way in that, because Dexter is like an experienced veteran who still hasn't gotten properly pushed yet, and for D'Angelo to get pushed over him to me would be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, so we'll see. But after that, we get Electro Lopez walking backstage with Mendoza and Wilde. Says she hopes Zion Quinn is watching. After that, we get a Ciampa vignette, which, again, honestly, I didn't know if it was a weird commercial thing or what, so I just kind of checked out of that. He was talking about how great he is, talking about his experience, which is another way of just saying, I'm better than you because I'm old. Suck it. And, well, fuck you, honestly. So then we get Electro Lopez versus Erica Yen. And very quick matchup here. Electro Lopez wins after that kind of blue thunderbomb type maneuver she does. She says, what I want is what I get. And what I want is Zion Quinn. So Quinn comes out. And Electro, more or less, again, propositions him, how would you go about joining Legado del Fantasma? And he says to Electro, he's like, you're amazing. But it's no Legado. And I fucking loved Wild's face here. Because you would have thought somebody slapped his mother in the face.
It reminded me of the face Kyle O'Reilly made a few years back when somebody said something about Adam Cole's something or other. I don't even remember, but
oh yeah, that's right. Something about like you don't deserve a title shot or something, and Kyle was just like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
Like amazing.
Yeah, same energy for sure.
Amazing. So yeah, I that might be the biggest pop Joaquin Wilde has ever gotten out of me in his entire career, because I did follow him as Zema Ion in TNA, and yeah, he like puts a very aggressive hand on Zion. Zion, of course, takes them both out. I really like how they're building Zion Quinn, and honestly, it's nice that they're kind of giving him a personality with the dancing and stuff.
Yeah, dude, I actually wanted to have a little bit of a discussion about this.
Sure.
Do you think they're kind of speed running this push a little bit? And I don't mean like they're pushing him too fast. What I mean is, I feel like the way that they've gone from this dude being like a mysterious silent killer to now all of a sudden ladies man who cuts promos every week and dances, I feel like we've like Rybacked this thing.
Yeah.
But like we went through like a year and a half or 2 years of Ryback in the matter of like 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because it is like a sharp turn.
Yeah.
I'm not talking like heel or face. I'm just talking like, you know, presentation and everything.
Like I feel like he was just having like random matches against like lower to mid card dudes and getting like upset wins, and then that like one segment where he like threw a dude into a door or something like in the parking lot. I don't even remember exactly. And said something about chivalry or something like that. Like, I feel like they were on the right track. And then, like, last week against Robert Stone, I was like, oh, this is interesting. But then, like, I was thinking, like, they were going to just go back to having him be, like, the silent killer. And now we just know he actually does have a personality to back it up. But no, they're keeping, like, the dancing being a part of his thing. He cut another promo tonight. I don't know if I like it or not.
I wouldn't have minded spending even another 6 months with him as like a silent killer building up a streak. Because here's the thing. And this is what, I don't know if NXT was just fearful and like they just wanted to see if he had personality. And now that they do, they're like, oh, well then why bother going back to the old thing? But like, and again, I'm going to be honest, and I kind of even hate being honest this way because the dude's solid in ring and I've always given him credit for that. But when you think about Corbin in NXT, like the streak is what he did have, especially when he was ending matches quickly and fans were counting down. The moment they stopped doing that, when he got in that feud with Bolt MC, it was fucking over for Corbin because he had no personality to fall back on. So at least not in a way that would be like, you know, sell tickets. Maybe at best in a so bad it's good kind of way, as he's done with me at times. But Zion Quinn, we know that he's got a charm to him. I think people would genuinely pay to see him if you built him up right. So then why not just build him up right, do the slow build, get the streak going as Silent Killer, and then the moment you put him up with a feud where maybe it's a bit more formidable or he's got a new interest, then you surprise everybody and be like, oh shit, he can talk or he has personality or whatever.
Yeah.
This way you kind of maximize his value. That's kind of my...
That's what I mean when I say that they've like speed ran his push. It's like you've blown through what could have been like 6 months to a year worth of booking in the matter of like a month or two.
Yeah, and I feel like because of that, I'm not necessarily saying you're stunting his value, but I don't think you're maximizing it as much as you could be if you really let this push marinate and everything and you take your time. I also don't like as well, if we're talking about speedrunning things, and then, again, this is just my opinion, I don't like already that there could be cracks in LDF with, like, and by LDF, I mean with Electro Lopez involved, like this iteration, because he does kind of catch her when she tries to strike him. He does a dance move with her, and she's not, like, opposed to it. So now I'm wondering if that's going to be a conflict. And it's like, I actually really liked Electra being in the mix because having female muscle, I think, is so unique. You know, one of the most legendary examples being when China was that very thing in DX, right? And I don't know if they're going to sit with that very long because now maybe, like, they might want to shift Electra to, oh, I'm going to go with Zion and be, like, maybe his valet or his love interest or whatever. It's like, I don't really know. Like, we know LDF's going to be okay because it was those three guys originally, but I really liked what Electra brought to the table. So I don't know how I feel about that either. But yeah, that's what they did. That was the segment. Let's move on here to the next thing. And yeah, I think that was the main event. That's all I have is Dunn versus Hayes. again, really great matchup. Hayes looks phenomenal in there. But, yeah, freaking Dunn wins because Johnny grabs the foot and distracts him and all that stuff. And, God, why is Pete Dunne still getting pushed? I don't understand things. So, any concluding remarks you have about NXT before we get to our next segment?
No, sir.
All right, high spots, low shots. My low shot, going to keep it real simple, Carmelo Hayes. He took his shot. He talked shit about Pete Dunne, which was correct. But now he lost Pete Dunne, so kayfabe-wise, he's got 2 contenders to worry about instead of 1. So he made his plate even fuller because he wanted to pick a fight. And so, yeah, it was a rough night for Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, I think my low shot's going to be Legado del Fantasma, just because Electra might have won her match, but it was against a nobody, and their big thing tonight was trying to recruit Zion Quinn. And when they failed hard, because then they tried to attack him and got thrown around like ragdolls, and she tried to slap him and got danced with, which might have been a win for her, but it also took all of her power away in that situation completely. So, rough night for LDF. Plus, where the fuck is Santos? They're not relevant without Santos.
They really aren't. And look, just personal opinion, not nearly as handsome either. I mean, I know
Obviously.
that's irrelevant, kind of,
It's
but not
completely relevant, and I'm offended that you would suggest it wasn't.
I thought I should just to have the veneer of professionalism, but since we're going full mask off, yeah, you're goddamn right it matters. And get the sexy back in this fucking faction.
Yeah.
Love you, Santos. God, why isn't he contending? Why isn't he NXT champion right now? Why do we have Ciampa? I would love fucking Santos versus Braun Breaker for the NXT championship, but no, we got the fucking old cue ball. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay.
Old-looking 36-year-old man.
Yeah. They can't compensate for experience. Oh, what's that? I couldn't hear you over the sound of the arthritis. Anyway, God.
I really thought you were going to say I can't hear you over the sound of your own ear hairs growing.
Yeah, really. You know what? Fuck it. Honestly, I'm in a fuck it kind of mood with this podcast anymore ever since we trimmed the fat, and it's like, hey, let's have fun again. So I am going to have fun again. My fucking high spot's Grizzled Young Vets. They got a free meal today. They got a free fucking meal today, and they learned how to distract people, so they're going to be even better as a tag team. Who else won that hard tonight? A GYV, that's easy for me. So who's your high spot?
Let's see. You know what? I'm not going to do anything crazy. I am going to say honorable high spots Cameron Grimes for arguably the segment of the night. Amazing promo. But my high spot's going to go to Gigi Dolan for picking up the winning pin for her team.
Fuck yeah, I love it. All right, guys. With that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-ordinator commentary. And guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to the top search result for NXT 2.0 reviews on YouTube. When you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell icon so you never get missed out on that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Most notably, of course, our Patreon, which I always like to plug. The 2 rewards I always like to give shout-outs to. Extra Q&A questions. Q&A is going to be December 2nd. So no Q&As this month. We're going to do it the first week of December because the last Thursday of November is Thanksgiving. We want you guys to have that holiday. We've got, people coming for that holiday, so we want the priorities to be there. Especially because, just gives you guys more time to answer questions. So to me, I look at it as a win-win-win. And yeah, if you donate $1, you get 2 additional Q&A questions because as it stands, non-Patreon donors only get 3 Q&A questions. If you donate the $1, you can get up to 5. So I think that's a great deal. Of course, as I always urge everybody to do, if you donate $3, you get the additional Q&A questions and you get access to the TWitWoW Discord server. We have a channel for virtually everything you'd want to talk about, and we do game nights, Mondays and now Fridays, since we're no longer covering SmackDown. So yeah, get in there. I think it's a great community, great people. You'll want to be a part of it. Follow us both on Twitter. I'm at John_TWitWoW. My pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. I think the 2 best places to submit Q&A questions personally are my pinned tweet and the Discord, again, which is $3 a month, because we have a Q&A questions channel. So you'll want to submit questions there. Again, if you're a non-Patreon donor, only 3 questions in your reply. If you are a Patreon donor, feel free to drop all 5, in the replies to my pinned tweet. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule for the month. He does have the first few days of November like up on the schedule, and I know I think he even actually. Do you have the November one up? I forget because I
I
think you even
do have the
previewed it.
November one up, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you do have the November one up. So I was wrong there. He does have the November one up. We're good. And yeah, guys, it is a Stardom heavy week, which means it's a great fucking week. Because tomorrow we will be doing the November 6th show, Tag League Day 5, at 5. And then Thursday again at 5, we'll be back with more Stardom. That'll be Tag League Day 6, the November 7th show. So yeah, that's the rest of the week is just Stardom. And again, if you're a part of the Discord, you'll want to join us Friday for another game night during SmackDown. But yeah, if you're just a regular TwitWoW listener, and we love you all, it's all Stardom, baby. Subscribe to Stardom World so you can get the most immersive experience with our reactions. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 and Thursday at 5. Until then, guys, be good to yourselves and to each other. Tune in and peace out.